Hello and welcome back to Chit Chat with two T's. I am your host, counseling psychologist jvaldez, and with me today, oh gosh, Ollie, we're going for it. With me today is my very good friend, fellow Howard alumni, woo, Dr. Brandon Gillespie. Hi, Brandon.
Hi,
Welcome.
Joe. It's nice to
Welcome
be
to
here.
Trinidad.
Yes, you lost me for a second. You said something before. You said something, and
Oh, so when you faced it, I said, "Oh gosh, Aurea, we going for it." Meaning,
okay.
yeah. So this was how this was for 2.5 years. This was Brandon and I, right? Because he would be like, "I don't know what you just said," and
And it
then
sort of
laugh.
lost me for,
Yeah, he was like, "Could
for
you?"
a few seconds.
He said, "Is that English? Does everyone in your country speak so fast? Like, what is that?" So, hi, Brandon. Welcome.
Hello, JL. It's nice to see you
It's nice to see
virtually.
you. Yes, it's
Yes.
been forever and a day,
Yeah.
but I'm glad. I know we had to go through a lot to make it happen, but I'm so happy that you could be here with us today. And
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
next time you'll be here with us in person. I would love
In
that.
Trinidad, that would be really amazing.
It would be. The food would be good. You'd love that.
Yes. What, bacon shock or just shock and bake?
You got it right. It's bacon chop. Good job. Never
And
forget.
roti
Yes.
and doubles.
And double. You did you watch Food Channel before you came
I've
here?
been
What did
watching a
you?
lot of food stuff.
That's another
Yeah.
passion that we both share: mental health
Yes.
and food. That's
Yes.
where we're at.
Absolutely.
So Brandon, even though I've heard that people shouldn't have to tell you about themselves, they
Who
should
told you that?
they should be, they should be introduced. But I would love if you could share with our viewers a little bit about who you are.
Well, JL, I am a adjunct professor of psychology at Florida. I get this so many times. I'm starting to say it. Fashion Institute of Technology in New York.
FIT.
Yes. I also am a freelance media creator, video creator. Yeah, so that's a little bit what I do. Yeah.
And I mean, listen, guys, his personality is so big. I'm really surprised that we were able to just, say put it into those two things. Because when I think about Brandon, I think back to our HU days, and it's always fun and entertainment. I wasn't a music video, guys. I was in Brandon's music video, but
Yes, voicemail. It was.
voicemail. He did a lot of remixes.
Yes.
2009 to 2011. It was good times.
Yes.
So Brandon, we're here, and on our podcast, it's really about normalizing mental health discussion.
Right.
Because in Trinidad and Tobago, it's still not as commonplace to have these conversations. You'll talk about sports or the weather, anything. It's very, it's commonplace to speak about those things. TV shows, but not really mental health, because we're still managing somewhat, even though it's a lot better. We're managing with the stigma associated with mental health in Trinidad and all its issues. So we want to be able to raise awareness, which is one of the main purposes of this podcast. So when I thought about guests, of course, your name was one of them that came to my mind, and that's why we have you with us today. So, could you tell us, to start off, what is in your cup today?
So today I'm having, I am teetotal. I don't drink.
That's right.
So I'm just having some water. I already had like Pepsi earlier today, and I shouldn't be having any sugary drinks. But so water for now.
Okay, very nice. Could you
Yeah.
tell us about your fancy mug?
Yes, this is my Howard Bison cup.
Woo!
I just got this actually this past week, and it was a gift from the School of Education, where
Oh,
you and I
nice.
both attended. So yeah, it's you know when you usually get mugs, they're not really nice. And
Yeah.
so I didn't really look at it until I got home. I was like, wow, that was actually a nice gift, which I should have got more. I found, someone left their bag and I should have taken it. But I was
Right.
like,
You
oh,
should have.
it's just a mug. Like, I don't want
Right.
it. But now that I see it, I'm like, no, I should have taken that
I should
extra
have gotten
bag.
two. I should have stolen that
Yeah.
other bag. And
Well, it
not
was
because-
left. It's not stolen. They just
Right.
left it. They didn't want it because
They
he
didn't
walked
want.
away.
They probably thought it wasn't a nice mug. That's what happened.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I almost left it myself. But I'm happy that
Dr.
I took it.
Ebanks, if you're listening, he didn't mean that.
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's actually a nice mug. Yeah.
I like it. So for those of you who
Yeah.
don't know, the bison is Howard's mascot.
Yeah.
So there we go. HU.
You know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that with me. No one can ever do it with me. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And I'm also drinking water today too, in my very nice thermos thing here that my god sister got me. I really like it.
I love it.
Thank
Does
you.
Does it keep your water cold for hours, or it's not?
So whatever you want. It's with that kind of thermos, and it actually tells the top of it will tell you
Ooh,
how much
that's
degrees
fancy.
it is. I know.
That's a good
EighTea.
one.
Yeah, my god sister give it to me, and I really
Yeah,
really,
you need
really
to
like
text
it.
me that one. Text me the name.
I
of
will.
that one. That's actually nice.
It is. So yes, and so that now we've gotten what's in our cup literally out of the way. What's going on with you, Brandon? What's in your cup figuratively?
Ooh, what's in my cup figuratively? Well, just life. I've been almost in New York City for like a decade,
Whoa.
10 years. So I'm just kind of contemplating what's next for the new decade. If I want to continue to be there, what's on the horizon in terms of goals setting. And so, yeah, it's a lot of reflection and, kind of creating new goals for the next decade. So yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
So is that how you typically do your plans, decade by decade?
No, I don't. You know me, JL. I am a Leo Virgo cusp. So part of me is wild and part of me wants to plan. And because neither one of them are in control, it's just a lot of chaos.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
It's kind of like somewhere in the middle. Like I'm thinking but not acting as quickly as I should. But eventually there will be some type of movement towards something. But yeah, I'm just contemplating now, putting some ideas out there.
I like that. And ladies and gentlemen, when he says, he is, wild and free, he is not lying. Brandon, how many years ago was it when you did those 365 days of yes?
Oh no, it was that you gave me more time than I had. It was 88 days of yes.
88 days of yes. Could you tell us about that? I found that was so fascinating.
So it was when after I graduated, I was just like, okay, I've always wanted to go see. I always contemplate. Everything looks spontaneous, but the Virgo in me doesn't let me just do it. I have to think about it. Right. But when I do it, that's the actual spontaneous part. Surprise! So I decided, one day in April of 2013 to just go to Spain and kind of backpack my way through Europe. And I kind of made it like an 88 days of yes, because you can't stay in Europe. But 90 days. And so I needed that 2 days just in case something happened. So yeah, I just backpacked my way and I kind of every day I did an activity that was a yes activity. Some days fell off because that's life and you just need to rest. But it's just 88 days of yes. So one of the yeses was just dancing at a club by yourself. Like that's something I would never do then. Who dances by themselves in the middle of the room
in a foreign country
on an empty floor?
Yeah,
like that's even so just saying yes, and that was a lot of freeing experiences that happened during that time. So I took from that is sometimes you just have to say yes and do what you can. And then I saw years later, Shonda Rhimes has this book the year of yes. I'm like, she stole my idea. She stole my idea. No, I should have wrote the book. My intention was to write a book, but some of those pages didn't get written when I was traveling. But I still have in memory the opportunity. There's never a time that we shouldn't be able to step outside of ourselves and really do what our core is calling us to do. And sometimes that's hard to do when we have stigma, when we have perceptions, when we have our judgmental selves, when we have no compassion for who we are, and we're afraid. And not sometimes, all the time, we have to choose yes. And not saying yes to things doesn't mean you say no. You can't say no, because sometimes yes to you is no to others. So yeah, that was that time.
You are preaching today. I mean, it is Sunday, but
yeah, it is Sunday. Unfortunately, we don't have an organ to back me up. But
where is your keyboard? Where is
my keyboard? Is not here because I'm not at home. But if I were, I would probably pull it out.
You know what? Next time we're gonna make sure that you're home, because Brandon, let me tell you, Brandon can do 10 tracks off of maybe 4 chords.
Hey, that's really great. That's really good. Yes.
It is. Like, I need to find, there was a video. I need to find that video. When you did, it was like a wake up thing, and you were like, you sound mixed with like an old pastor and a children's show wake up song. I mean, Brandon is super entertaining.
1 chord. That's 4 chords. That's funny.
Yeah, like, who does that?
That's called math.
Being a genius.
Yes.
And Brandon is one of those people. I mean, he's not lying about that duality thing in his personality, because we were in school and we were wondering, Brandon, how are you getting through? How are you completing all your tasks? Because Brandon was living life, just like, but he did so well. And I think, honestly, Brandon, when I think back to that time, I think maybe you underestimated even yourself at that point. When I look back at it, I feel that you now, being Dr. Brandon, I mean, yes, we always used to talk about those things. But I feel like I saw that it could happen. I'm not sure if you thought this would have become a reality.
JL, I think when you're in the trenches, and this is, I'm probably speaking for some people out there, you don't always know your abilities until it's happened. I think sometimes when the hard things happen in your life, the crisis, the trials, the tribulations, as they say in the Black church, the trials and tribulations.
Praise
I don't think I've ever said that like in my personal experiences, but I think when you're in the moment, you don't really have the foresight. And but that's why it's so important to have people like you who can see what's inside of you, who can see your potential and activate that potential and push you to move forward, because you don't always see the victory on the other side of the corner. We just see what's happening. And that's why it's always important to practice mindfulness and gratefulness, because if you take those opportunities to stop and say, okay, things are really hectic right now, but what's working? What have I accomplished? What have I done? What am I doing that's great? What am I doing that's keeping me moving? What am I doing that's pushing me forward and keeping me here and present? And so when you don't take those moments, you forget and you don't see what I like to say, what's in the rearview mirror.
I see that too.
Things are closer than they actually appear, right? But if we just take a look and glance, it's right there.
Oh, look at you. Yes. I'm ready for this book. Shonda, I'm ready for your book. Let's get it.
Okay. We'll see.
I'm giving you 5 years. You have 5 years?
5 years. I have 5 years. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
It really should be 2, but I'll give you 5.
We'll see what 5 years brings us. And we'll say, I did it. I did the book.
I'm ready. I'd read it.
Thank you.
Just letting you know.
At least one. You only need one. You only need one.
Oh, Ricardo said two.
Is there a 3? Do we have a 3 in that? Do we have a 3rd?
Right? I'm seeing it all now. Book signings at Howard.
Yeah.
It'll be great. It'll be great.
Yeah.
I'll come up just for that.
I will send for you. You don't even have to worry.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. You heard it here. Dr. Brandon Gillespie said when he writes his book, he's gonna send for me so that I can come up for the signing at Howard University. Yes. I love it. I'm ready.
I love that this video is great for a reminder because I may forget.
Oh, I will be sending it to you.
Yes.
Yeah. Next year, this time I'll be like, so see link below.
See link below. I can't access the link.
It'll be on YouTube. You can access it.
Okay.
So I love that you are so positive, even in the midst of your reflection and as you're preparing for, as you said, the next decade of your life. And you definitely would have said yes to a lot, but you also would have said no to a lot, as you also said, because saying yes doesn't mean you can't say no. And sometimes it would also mean saying no because there are things that we don't like or things that may piss us off or annoy us. So what's boiled your water? What is your pet peeve? What's been annoying you as of late? Or in general?
I can't think of a moment at this moment that is a pet peeve for me. I'm sure we get off this, thing and I can think of a lot of things.
There's nothing that is annoying.
Yeah. My life is not perfect. And I know that things are can really, ruffle my feathers. But I'm sorry, I just can't provide you with anything right now. I may have to come later on in the comments and add it. Here's some things that bothers me.
Come on in.
When the video is posted, I may come to the comments. Here it goes. Here's everything that bothers me.
We'll make sure and do it as a premiere so that you can put it in the live chats too. Be like, oh guys, I forgot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll have a whole list of things. But I guess maybe I try not to focus on what bothers me often.
Yeah. Wow.
And figure out, what I can do. And I'm not saying this is every day because sometimes I ruminate, which I think over and over. Sometimes I have a pity party. Those happen every now and then. You throw a pity party. Sometimes you invite people to your pity party. Like, come over here and listen to me complain.
Misery loves company.
Come over. I'm about to start a pity party. But so everything's not perfect, but I try not to dwell on those things because it does nothing for me and it does nothing for anyone. Yes, sometimes venting is good just to, talk about things. And I have to be careful about venting. And we all should be careful about venting because I complain and talk about things sometimes to people and they are unaware that I have already moved on. But sometimes you just need to talk, like I know that things are going to be fine. I know that the world, my life is not my own and it belongs to God and that's his job to fix things. But sometimes you just want to articulate what you're angry about, what it's not working. But as I know things are going to work out. I know things are going to be okay. It's just sometimes you just want to have fun and talk about it. At least for me. Yeah. Sometimes you just want to have conversation.
I love that you said by the time they're ready, you've already moved on. And they're
They don't know that, like, wow, Brandon. But no, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say this after I hang up the phone and I've moved on.
You're good. You're done with it.
I'm done. Because, you have to live with a certain expectation about life, right? Hope. That things are not always what they are and what they will be. This is only a moment in time. And this moment will not last forever and things will change. That's what life is, change. And so if you're in pain or sorrow, there will be great moments coming up. It's coming. It's around the corner.
It's coming. Gotta hold on.
Yeah, just hold on, just stay there, because as you know, the waves come to the shore front, they will go back.
That's right.
So just hold on. And it seems rough, but things will be good.
I have to have you, like, before you do the book, you have to come back on the show.
Okay.
Because you're just here emanating all this hope and positivity right now. I love it.
Yeah. Hope is something that I think you have to practice.
Yes.
Because it doesn't come easily.
No.
And sometimes you have to practice it when you don't even believe it,
Fake
because
it till you make it.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know if it's, I used to say fake it till you make it, and people say faith it till you make it.
Faith it till you make it.
You just have to believe. Like, you just have to, and I think it's easier for me, and I've said this earlier, is it's not my job. Right. My job is just to show up. God's job is
so you've been able to surrender.
Yeah, because I know what I can't do. Like, if I'm in crisis, I can only do so much, and you see people, a lot of people out there have probably worked with people who are like, that ain't my job. That's how I treat God. That's not my job.
That's not your job. That's
like,
right.
why
That's
are you telling me?
Pay grade.
Why are you telling me? That's his job. I'm about to lay down and watch, Hulu, because that's not my job.
That's your job. And I think that's really important in terms of managing your mental health too.
Yeah.
To know what's your job.
Yes.
And what's above your pay grade. To know what you get to, what is your business, and to know what you have to surrender to. And that's as simple as it is. It's so profound, but it's also so difficult for many of us to do.
Right. We have to know our limitations. And some people are going in circles trying to achieve things above their limits.
Yeah.
And you can't. You'll never reach that. And so I know when I have to surrender. I know when I have to ask for support. I know whether or not I do it or not all the time, but we have to ask for help. Yeah. And, religiosity is one of those things. If you believe, that can help you. If you don't believe in God, do you have a friend? Do you have family members? Do you have, a community who can help you? Who their job is to provide whatever services you need? Who is, there to support you? We can't do everything. We're here to connect, and we're here to lean on each other. And so when we don't have something, when we have limitations, we reach out.
Reach out and touch
somebody's hand. Yes. Make this world a better place. If you can. And we can.
And we can. Yes, we can.
And we can. That's the remix.
And we can. I like the remix.
Yes.
Gotta record that and send it for me.
Yes.
with the same 4 chords.
Right. Yes. Only 4 chords. That's all you need.
That's all you need. That's really all you need. So I'm glad you were talking about, you've actually woven, so much of your, I guess, how you manage your mental health throughout this conversation. You've talked about mindfulness and practicing gratitude and surrender. I mean, how is your mental health currently? And do you have any other techniques that you use to help you manage it well?
My mental health is, today it's good. It could be, different tomorrow, I think, but generally it's pretty stable. And I think that's just attributed to being aware of my limitations and being aware of the things I want and the things I can change, the things I can't change. And again, going back and seeking support. There was a time where I was like, okay, I think I need therapy. And then I was like, okay, I don't think therapy is for me because I'm not really talking about anything.
Right.
So I just think I just needed to talk for that moment to someone.
Right. You need to talk it out.
Objective and who didn't have any stake in anything I was presenting. And that's okay. Therapy doesn't have to be long term. Sometimes we're dealing with a short crisis or a short adjustment that we need to talk out and see objectively. So when I feel that way, when I feel overwhelmed, when I feel like, this person can't really hear me, or I need to go somewhere else, I know that there are resources out there where I can flesh out these ideas and thoughts and concerns, and so I encourage people to do that as well. Yeah, and I'm pretty good.
I like
and
that.
if I have something I need to deal with, and my life becomes dysfunctional or distressful, psychologically or otherwise, and I know that I need to get help.
And that's important, I think, to actually know when you need to get help. Of course, following that up with action is also equally important. But
Yes.
I think just coming to that place where you can acknowledge, okay, you know what, I might need some help. I think that's great.
And it's also good to have people around you who can recognize when you need help. Because sometimes we are unaware of our own limitations. And your friend, your mom, your cousin, your sister, your family member can say, your coworker can say, wait a minute, I've noticed that you've been acting differently. I've noticed that you stop answering our phone calls. I notice X, Y, and Z. Is everything okay? They can check you and confront you with care, with kind of your changes.
Yes. With care. Yes. I think that is definitely important as well, because sometimes we think we know ourselves best, but when you're in the midst of whatever you're going through, sometimes you might be in denial about where you're at. Or you may just not be ready to confront that particular truth. So you stay in the midst of whatever that is, but as you rightly said, having community, having someone that can support you and care for you and check you and say, hey, this isn't you, what's going on? That can just be a doorway for them to open up. And I think that's super important.
I call that the 3 L's of support. Loving, listening, and leaning in. If you're offering love, you respond to people differently. If you're listening to people, listening with your eyes and your ears, you can see what's happening around them, and you're leaning in. You're not acting the same way. We used to go out every Friday. Now you don't respond to my calls. You're leaning into what's happening. So just paying attention to the people around you, because we're here to connect, and we are everyone's first responder.
I love that.
When you see something happening, you are our first responder. And you have to act. It's important. And we don't always know how to, excuse me, it's not COVID. We don't know, we don't always, just need to clear my throat. We don't always know how to respond to help people out. But starting with love, starting with listening, and really leaning in can help you do that.
I love those 3 L's. Gonna take it. May or may not trademark you, put you on it. But
maybe that'll be my book.
Love that. That should be your book.
Yeah.
That should be your book. The 3 L's of relationship or living or love or whatever. I love it.
Or whatever that is. Whatever you just said.
Whatever you decide. I love it. Yeah, just do that. Because of course, for good mental health in general, we have to be our brother's keeper, or as you so, beautifully, eloquently, succinctly put it. We are everyone's first responders. So we're not only looking at ourselves, but we have to be there for everybody else.
Right.
Me checking for you and you checking for me is what continues to build community and what continues to engender goodwill among people, which is not as easy to come by in 2022 as you would have imagined. So I think that's a really good reminder that you gave us, to really love, listen, and lean in so that we can continue to strengthen each other. Look at where is that organ? We need to get it. We do. Yeah, you really made an out, Brandon. We should have done this when you were in New York so that you could have brought that keyboard out.
Next time.
Because there will be a next time.
Yes.
There will be a next time.
I'm open to whenever you want me to.
I love that. And what else do you... So you play the keyboard and you have a lot of fun with with that. How else do you manage your stress?
I love riding my bike. Well, I don't really ride it. It's electric, so I just sit on it and throttle. But it does have. I can pedal. I just don't. Because why? Why make things harder for yourself?
I remember when you had an actual bike that you rode. I remember that.
I did. Yeah. I had to upgrade. But I love, especially during the summertime, riding my bike around the city with music. Playing on a speaker. I have the speaker where
look at you.
I love it. And it's so fun because depending on your playlist, and I have mastered the playlist for the community.
Yeah.
I know the songs that people in the community want to hear.
Oh, DJB.
And so it's like, yes, I'm like a mobile DJ.
Yeah.
And so riding around the streets and people dancing along with the songs that you're playing or singing, or the cops dancing to I Want to Dance with Somebody as you ride along. Like that is fun.
Not Trinidad, yes.
Yeah. Well, why not Trinidad?
Because the police are not going to dance. I Want to Dance with Somebody here.
But if you're playing I Want to Dance with Somebody, the cops are going to dance. Okay? Everyone on the street is going to dance.
That's a great song.
If you play Fantasia, what's the song?
When I See You?
Yes. That's a fan favorite. Even the men who you think won't be singing along will sing along on the streets.
I remember, quick interjection. I don't know if Brandon knows the story I'm going to tell. Mm-hmm. But I remember I think it was Florida Grill in Howard, in DC. And we saw this person who said he was you told me he was Fantasia's manager.
Mr. Washington.
Yes. And you started to sing Fantasia. Like really like loud enough, trying to just throw some lines for him to hear. And I was
possibly
like, this is what life is.
That would be me. Yes.
Yeah. And I think it was from that same line. That same song.
It probably was. Or that, or when she sang, "Go ahead and call some." We'll go ahead and that song. Go ahead and leave. I don't know the song. I'm really bad with lyrics, so you will never get me to sing a song fully on anything.
Never ever, unless it's your remix, which is also not an entire song.
No, because who does that?
This
is a sample. You pay for the rest.
That's right. Hey, that's right. Get ready for your book too. You can have one free page. That's it.
Yes, one free.
Yeah. So you like to ride around the community, play music. What else do you like to do?
I love to eat. Clearly,
me too.
Since COVID, I've put on some extra.
It's love weight.
Some extra personality.
I'm going to start using that.
No, I have
it's
extra
just a little
personality.
Extra personality. Yes. Not schizophrenic or schizoid multiple personality disorder, but it is, just a little extra personality.
An extra personality. So, I love food. I love to eat. I love travel and eating. I just love being outside when I'm in New York City.
I think you like being outside everywhere. You're not a homey person. Yeah.
I'm not. Well, I have been, especially when the winter comes. But I love being outside. I love being outside. We're nature. Well, I don't want to say that because I don't really want to do camping.
No, you're not trying to hike or anything.
Not that kind
not that outside. Not that kind of. No.
Not that outside.
No. Just riding our bikes, going to get different types of food.
Yeah.
That's the outside that we like.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Brandon, this is fantastic. I had such a wonderful time catching up poolside outside Ricardo.
Yeah, poolside outside. Yeah. Definitely.
It's been so good catching up with you and just, kind of getting some of that unique Brandon wisdom and humor that we so love. Thank you for sharing your spark with us. I always tell you about that spark that you have, and you're so inspirational. And I still think you haven't quite tapped into everything that you have to share, but I think it's coming as it's supposed to. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, it will come. Like,
It will
I
come.
believe we have our own timeline, and I've never worried about when things will happen. Like you said,
this is a true story.
It will happen, and I will be just as surprised as everyone else. Because when the moment happens, you cannot stop it. When a train is moving, someone steps in front of it, it's gonna hit you. No, because it can't stop.
It can't stop.
It can't stop. So the time will happen. There are things that I have said in my life that have come true. And there was no, I planned in terms of I made steps, but I never thought. I did think, but it's still surreal to be Dr. Brandon. It's still surreal to have graduated from Howard with a master's. It's still surreal to like have done so many other things that I've done in my life because, it was destined. And I didn't know the timing, but it happened. So yes, you will see me, whatever you're thinking in your head about who I am or what I will be, it will be better. Because I like to live in the space of what I can imagine. So God provides things that are exceedingly abundantly above. So I don't even know. I don't even know what's gonna happen.
But it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great because I can't even imagine, and I want to live in a space where I can't even imagine because what I can only imagine has limits.
I love that.
I want limitless opportunities, limitless, a limitless future, and so we'll see it.
Well, again, thank you so much.
Thank you, JL.
Dr. Brandon.
Yes. I'm so glad to be on your program. I'm so glad to talk to you, and I love you and anything I can do
too.
to support.
My God.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is really making me miss my HU clip. So hi, Shadi and Tiffany and Johari and Dr. Felicia and everybody. It's good. Thank you so much for making time to be with us, and I hope that we will all be taking heed and working on our 3 L's, and that we will all, as we seek to continue to raise mental health awareness and to normalize the discussion of mental health, that we can all live in a space where we can't even imagine.
Ooh. Yeah. And that's a beautiful space. Yeah.
It's so beautiful. Thank you for introducing me to it. Yeah, I love it. Right. So everybody, again, I am your host, jvaldez, and we thank our very special guest, Dr. Brandon Gillespie, for being with us. And take care until we see you next time. Stay safe and see.